Hey, Statue Collectors, Start Cross. Just received this package from XM. Let's get it open. Alright, we have a standard black box from XM with in the envelope is the packing instructions. And good thing the box was pretty beat up, but XM has these, braces on the corners of each. You can see it was dented there, really dented over there. So, yeah, the box is doing its job. So let's get it open. All right, so this piece does come in multiple layers. Got the top off. Looks like we have one torso, bottom part of the body, pieces of the base, the lightning, and underneath it'll probably come with the base and the other torso and the base stand. Again, XM comes with these black straps. Keeps everything down better, and you don't have to deal with retaping it if you're keeping things in the box, or you're packing it back up. You don't want to have to deal with all that movement around. So the straps are better. Sideshow's starting to do that. So let's continue. Every once in a while you get surprises when you're opening a box, and this one really surprised me. It's like, how in the hell did that not break? I guess that's how it goes in. I mean, I looked on the other side of the other box that layers on top of it. There's a big hole, but it just seemed like you probably could have put that as a separate piece, or another way to pack it. Because yeah, I'm afraid if I have to repack this for whatever reason, then that part could break when I'm putting on the second styrofoam. Because I mean, literally, it's just sticking out. Yeah, but it didn't break, so I mean, they did their due diligence. So yeah, let's fully unpack this thing. Looks like I got a card with this one too. I'll give the backstory on how I ended up getting this piece when I do the review, but yeah, there we go. I'm gonna start assembling next. All right, so I got the base out. Now I just want to show everyone why I picked this up. I mean, I wanted to get it, I just wasn't sure about the price. But Todd from Spec Fiction posted this on a Facebook group that apparently this one arrived damaged. This piece here broke off, so he sent it to a professional, repair, such repairer, and they put a rod in here, and I think they put epoxy or glued it down. So now there's no issue of this part coming apart, because now there's actually a rod in there connecting to this piece, which I think before was just polystone or polyresin or whatever this is made out of. So yeah, I mean, looking at it closely, I mean, you can't tell that it ever broke off or even was repaired. But yeah, this is where he's gonna key in. His foot's gonna key in the back of his foot's gonna key in there. Yeah, so I mean, looking at the rest of it, it looks really good. And once it gets fully assembled, I'll talk more about the base and the paint job, because I think that's what was concerning some collectors on this piece. Yeah, all right, so let's get down to assembling. All right, collectors, this is Reverse Flash fully assembled. Yeah, it was a pain. I mean, there was a lot of pieces to put together. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep all the lightning bolts on it. I know it gives a good effect, but yeah, I mean, it's I'm afraid that like I could brush up a bonnet, or I mean, I live in California, it's earthquake country, so a statue falls could just snap those things. I mean, they seem pretty sturdy. But yeah, so here is another view of it. So this is Eobard Thawne. I think he first appeared in Flash 139 back in the 60s. And he is from the 25th century. He was like a professor, and he was trying to he idolized the Flash, and he tried to replicate what turned Barry Allen into the Flash, and he successfully did it. But he I guess tapped into the reverse speed force, and then from then on he kind of went insane. He was going under Professor Zoom at the time, but later became the Reverse Flash. Name change. Yeah, so then he pretty much tries to make Barry's life a living hell, essentially. Famously, he appeared in the Flashpoint event where he so Barry Barry Allen, the Flash, goes back in time to, I think, save his mom. I seen the cartoon. I haven't read all the comics yet about it, but pretty much Barry tries to go save his mom and screws up the timeline, which is loosely based on the latest Flash movie that they did. So everyone, I think, assumed that the Reverse Flash was going to be in that movie, but turned out he wasn't. It was just the other version of the Flash. But yeah, he also shows up in the CW Flash show, which I haven't seen. I heard the first few seasons were good, but yeah, haven't seen it yet. So anyway, so that's a brief history of the Flash. So this statue, I mean, I'm developing a DC villains line. I pretty much got the Marvel statues that I wanted to get, heroes, villains, but for DC, I'm primarily focusing on the villains. So it's pretty much the ones that I, grew up, watching either in cartoon form, reading, and some form or another. So this one I got from Spec Fiction again. I explained that the back part where his foot keys in broke off, but it was professionally repaired. So it was Todd was giving a deal on it, so I scooped it up. And this is the primary display that I'm probably going to use. He's in an action pose. He's running. He has his weapon with him, and he just has a sinister look on his face. And if you've seen the Flashpoint animated movie, like, he has that. They got that face down. He's always has that sinister grin. And yeah, overall, I really like it. Let's move on here. He comes with a second portrait, second torso, where he's more upright and he's gonna, going for a punch. And this pairs well with the XM Flash statue. So he also has two different torsos, and you can split them together like that. But for me, I'm gonna display him in the action pose that we have here. So let's start moving in and seeing. Let's see. Check out the base first. Now, this is my second XM piece, and the first one. Whoa, what's going on? The first one that I had was the XM Doomsday. So that one, in terms of the Doomsdays that were released, I think it was the best quarter scale one, custom or licensed, but the paint app is really bad on it. Like, Doomsday and the base are way too dark, and they kind of have the same feel as this Flash base, where it's like a rocky, base in the bottom, has the Daily Planet, and it has a bunch of like steel beams, melted on. Let's see if I can just move over. So you see here is the Flash. The colors of the rock are a bit brighter. The rebar is brighter, and steel beams are brighter. So there we go. And then now you look at Doomsday over here, and it is way dark. So I know there was a few complaints about this one in the pics that Reverse Flash, where they didn't think the colors were, the paint app wasn't well done. But if you've ever seen this Doomsday, and I have to shine a lot of light on it just to try to get some of the colors to pop, it is really dark. I mean, so being my first XM piece, I was a bit disappointed. Sculpt wise, assembly, like, it's 10 out of 10. Like, I still think this is the best Doomsday sculpt, and just the way he looks, the ferocity, just, it's great. But now back to the Flash. If you can see here is, people are saying that the color looks a bit dull for yellow. I don't think so. I mean, he's wearing a yellow spandex costume, and that's the same as the Flash. It's not supposed to be shiny. This is classic Reverse Flash. It's not Rebirth, where he has a bunch of red, outlining some of his costume. So I'm satisfied with it. The base is definitely a lot better. The color is a bit pop more. Then you have the stop sign here, which adds a bit more color, and then you have the lightning bolts. Lightning bolts, in my opinion, I think they could have used a bit more shading if they could. I don't know if it would have been difficult because they are, smaller pieces, but if they had a bit more shading into it, or I don't know if it was translucent, if it would have looked better or not. I mean, I think the painted is the way to go, but I mean, it just looks like they're a solid color. See if they're coming up more on in the video than in person. It's a bit darker, but yeah, I think that could have been done better. But the paint on the base, it's a hell of a lot better than Doomsday. So paint wise, I think it's good. Now body, so you see his boots. So you have, it's almost like a leather look to it. They're red, darker shades of red in here. So it's giving off the shadow effect. I mean, they look, realistic. You have the bottom of his boot there. And then you see on the costume, you have the folds, the seam of the pants, or what would it be? Whoa, see, like some of these magnets are not as strong, so that's why I'm considering removing some of these, just in case, earthquakes where I'm living at, or if I just bump into it, as I'm moving pieces around. So yeah, I mean, I think in person the yellow looks good. On video, it looks a bit more shiny. But overall it's not. I mean, it's popping on video. In person it's a bit duller, but overall, paint wise, I think it's good. The sculpt is great. I mean, it looks like Reverse Flash to me. You have the muscle texture underneath his costume. I mean, the muscle definition underneath his costume. So he looks like a bulky, real, fit guy. I mean, let's take a look at his face. Let's see here. So, yeah, so it's all about that face. I mean, he has that nasty looking grin on, the red eyes that Reverse Flash has. Teeth, well, I'll say this: it's better than what Sideshow would put out for teeth. But I mean, they're a bit flat. But I mean, I wasn't expecting much from the teeth. You're not really looking at it. You're standing back looking at this piece. So, yeah, so that's that. I mean, I like the way it looks. The weapon looks nice too. It looks a bit metallic. And like I said again when I was unboxing, this part is just really sticking out when you put it in the box. So if you ever have to repack it, just be careful. I got the metal plaque with this one, and yeah, so overall I'm really liking the piece. Yeah, so let's get a closer look at the other part. All right, this is with the second torso installed. Pretty easy. Just I mean, I disassembled the arms and like the two arms and the piece on his head before taking it off, just to make sure, because once it sits in there, it's pretty steady. So here it is with the second torso, and this one again, it pairs more with the Flash made by XM, especially like if you have the tornado hand displayed on the regular Flash, and he's about to hit him. Flash is doing a tornado, like maybe repel him away. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. Bit more simple. I mean, it looks like he's lunging towards you. It actually might work better with my display, because I'm gonna put him up top with Darkseid and Doomsday. So I'm gonna put him right beside, so he's gonna look taller with this display option. But I mean, I prefer the running portrait better. Yeah, so overall, I mean, it looks really good. I'll probably have this one as a bust, sitting somewhere else in my display. But yeah, overall, very good. Paint app is the same on, as the other one. So the yellow, again, in person, it's a bit duller. But yeah, so whoa, is he in there? Yeah, I think so. May need to push him down a bit more, but yeah, overall I'm happy. Yeah, so try to add maybe one or two more DCP villains eventually. But yeah, so I got my Reverse Flash, and hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks.